Hello and welcome to episode 1 of the podcast. This is going to be a weekly podcast where we'll be speaking to all kinds of industry experts from all different backgrounds, and they're going to be talking through their tactics and strategies for success in the world of e-commerce. It's a really exciting project, and I can't wait to kind of go through and speak to all the different people about it, and hopefully you guys find value from it as well. I am delighted to introduce our first guest of the podcast, Mr. Dita. Welcome along, Raz.
Wonderful. Hi everyone, I'm Raz. I'm the co-founder of Horizon Marketing, and I have a background in marketing in Amazon, and I'm very excited to share what I've learned in these years.
Amazing. Do you just want to give us a quick kind of overview of Horizon Marketing, what it does, how it helps people, and what the kind of vision is for the business?
Of course. So a little bit of a background from my side. I've always been passionate about systems, about how the things work, and I even did a degree in robotics. And looking at on Amazon, I've always been fascinated about the algorithm and how Amazon is managing to put the right things, the right products in front of the right customers. So with this passion in mind, we build Horizon Marketing, which has been built to help sellers to drive more sales on Amazon, to expand on different markets. And we developed internal systems. We developed even a software to help enhance the algorithm. Overall, it's a complex process, and Amazon takes in consideration a lot of data. And we try to make this simple for sellers. We try to take the marketing side, which is a complex thing, and to take care of it. So the sellers are focusing on the logistics side, on the product development, things that matters a lot for the business.
Great. Yeah, sounds really, really interesting. And I think you're right, aren't you? With regards to the kind of balance of Amazon, you've got the kind of marketing element, the kind of PPC element, but then you've also got all of the other bits that go with it, how to make a product findable and, how to kind of direct traffic to it. And then when you do direct traffic to it, how do you kind of convert it? I feel like one of the things that has been most overlooked in the years that I've been working within the Amazon kind of ecosystem is a really kind of solid PPC strategy. And if I'm being really honest, I feel like it's the thing that I learned last in my Amazon journey, and I think the thing that kind of trips a lot of people up is auto campaigns, right? People just go, I can switch on a few auto campaigns and it all kind of does it. It all kind of works for me. So yeah, I'm interested to kind of get your opinions and your kind of understanding on the whole kind of PPC element and the importance, I guess, of having a really solid PPC strategy.
Awesome. So it's important to understand what PPC is, what is the role of PPC in the overall Amazon environment. So PPC is actually the highest revenue driver for Amazon. So PPC is very important for Amazon. And therefore, they built the PPC in a way to help driving more revenue for Amazon. However, it's not necessarily a profitability tool. So as a seller, if you're trying to make profits out of PPC, unfortunately, nowadays is extremely hard because it became more and more competitive and the overall profitability on PPC decreased. And that's why it's very important to use it as a ranking tool, as part of a ranking strategy. Overall, PPC is quite complex because it's very analytical and it requires a good understanding about the Amazon marketplace, the Amazon positions on the search page, and the position on the product pages. When we look at rankings overall, PPC plays an important role into the algorithm. So in order to rank a product, first we need to increase the relevancy of a listing. So we do that by implementing an SEO profile and an SEO optimization in the listing. And that's the first step. However, Amazon doesn't really believe us. We can say anything about the listing. And the next step is to prove it. And we prove it by implementing a PPC strategy. We need to use the same keywords that we optimize the listing with. We need to do a proper keyword research and to understand which are the most relevant keywords and for which keywords we allocate the budget for. It's very important to identify the stage an account is, if it's in a launching phase, if it's in a scaling phase, if it's in a growing market share phase. So based on this stage, we need to implement the right PPC strategy. So what we do we perform an account audit and we identify the phase. And it's very important to work with the brand owner to understand what are the goals for the account and what are the goals for each product, because some products might be more viable, some products are not really driving a lot of profits on Amazon. So we need to build up a profitability analysis and together with the brand owner to identify what is the priority for the products. And after that, we build PPC structures individually per parent ASIN. So we treat each product differently, because if we look overall on one PPC, the metrics are very different from a product to another.
Yeah, it's a really important point actually. I really like the first point that you made around, not seeing PPC as a profit generator, seeing it more as more of a ranking tool. And I think that's so important. And I think a lot of the people that I've worked with in the past kind of just see it as I want to be 10x in my ad spend, which I think at one point many years ago was feasible. Now it's still feasible, but I think it's a much longer kind of strategy, isn't it, to kind of get to a position of that kind of return on ad spend.
Definitely. So what we've seen an increase in the average bids every year, because we see about 10 to 20% increase in competition in most of the niches, and each new seller which comes on the market comes with an optimized product and then at the same time with a PPC budget. And because they're new on the market, they are not really indexed for most of the keywords. So what's happening when you're not indexed for a keyword, you have to overbid to be seen on Amazon. When you build history on that keyword, Amazon is giving you better placements for a lower bid. Because PPC is built on an auction structure, the sellers are bidding for different placements, and the one who bids the most of the time wins a better position. So because of this cycle, it became more and more expensive to run PPC. And therefore, it needs to be integrated in a ranking structure, because eventually profits are going to come from organic positions. And PPC is meant to bring you high in organic positions. And when you scale your brand, to maintain the organic rank, to get more market share, and to build up brand awareness.
Yeah, so I think, I guess what we're saying here is that rather than looking at advertising spend and revenue as its own kind of ecosystem, what we want to be doing is actually looking at a kind of TACOS, so total kind of revenue across the board versus what you're spending with advertising, because that's going to give you a truer picture for the way that your ad strategy has driven your organic kind of sales, I guess. And then I guess what the other side to look at it as well is that we're using paid advertising to increase organic sales, which are free essentially. So, whilst the overall strategy is that it's, the end goal is that we get more and more free sales essentially.
Yeah, exactly. And it's important to understand that the organic position is not something that we can hold by default. So I would like to dive a bit deeper into how the organic position works. In the launching phase, Amazon is testing the organic position on different placements, because it's trying to understand where is the right placement for the product. And in time, the SEO profile is being built and the algorithm understands more what is the best placement for your product. Once you get enough sales, both organic sales and also PPC sales, Amazon is establishing a stable organic rank. And that organic rank starts to fluctuate less and less, so you're becoming more stable on the page. So in the launching phase, the first goal is to establish as high as possible organic rank. And in the scaling phase, it's important to maintain the high organic rank and to increase it incrementally. The strategy is different in each phase, and also the PPC structure is different for each phase.
Yeah, of course. So this feels to me like a longer strategy than perhaps you would have done in the past, where you're just gunning for kind of paid sales. So what, in terms of like time scales, what would you say is the rough kind of timeline that you should give this kind of ranking strategy?
Sure. So on Amazon, we have the first 3 to 6 months, which are called the honeymoon period. And Amazon is actually giving a lot of ranking juice and is allowing new products to rank higher on the Amazon page. In this way, Amazon is trying to keep the platform new, to allow new sellers to come on the market, and it's a great opportunity for new sellers. So the launching phase can be up to 6 months, but it totally depends on your sales velocity. Because if you're having a high sales velocity compared to the competitors, you're getting into a stable organic rank much faster. So I would say 3 to 6 months, and it depends on your sales velocity.
Great. What do you do? Like, how do you kind of measure the success of this strategy throughout that kind of period?
I think it's important to understand the goals of the brand owner, to understand the launching budget, the tacos limit. Usually we see about 20% tacos target for the launching period. And after that, the tacos is being decreased to 15%, and after that to 10 to 12%. Obviously, this depends on the niche that we are in. So we need a clear view on the goals of the brand owner, and in the same time to understand if the goals are feasible. So if we manage to establish an organic rank on the first page for most of the keywords that we target in, that would be a clear success for the launching phase. I think it's very important to look at the reviews amount, and also if we manage to build up credibility for the product that we launched.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. So I guess we talk to the brand about, what their targets are and how much ad spend they want to kind of contribute. Do we ever make recommendations? So would you ever kind of look at the account or look at the targets that a brand's given you, and then kind of maybe push back and say, hey, look, I think, in order to get to where you need to be, I think maybe we need to increase the spend, or we need to increase the tacos initially. Is that something that you would kind of do?
Definitely. So I think it's very important that we perform a proper market research and competitor analysis, and we get a very good understanding about what are the competitors doing, for which keywords they're ranking for, and to get a good understanding about how the next months are going to look like. And it's important to perform a profitability analysis from the beginning, because we want to be as efficient as possible with the budget that we have, because we can easily spend the budget on targets that are not really driving organic ranks, or we can spend the budget on targets that are driving the rankings that we're looking for. So there are a couple of factors here. One, making sure that the goals make sense, and we always use the data and we show the brand owner and we have a discussion around that. We found the brand owners always being reasonable, understanding the market. After that, making sure that every penny that's being spent is allocated properly on the targets that we analyzed in the keyword research. We make sure that the SEO profile is being built, the SEO optimization is being done properly, and the entire budget is allocated properly on the right targets. Another important factor here, I think, is looking on the overall customer journey and customer behavior. If we just do the launching and we don't take a step back and looking from a customer's eyes perspective, it's going to be very hard for us to take decisions on the way. So usually we have impressions, clicks, add to carts, and purchases. And it's very important that we're very optimized for each one of these phases, so we maximize the chances of success.
So I guess, would that include, some of your kind of organic type strategies, like, making, creating better images and making, increasing the chances of conversion and all of that kind of thing?
It involves a good understanding of the customer archetype, and creating better images doesn't necessarily give you a better conversion, because customers are on Amazon for a specific purpose. They are looking to buy something. They're not on TikTok, they're not on Facebook, they're not on Google. They are there for a reason. And they have a couple of questions. So usually they know what they're looking for. There are two types of products. We have the products that are solving an issue. I'll give you an example. We have a screwdriver that's going to help me with my issue. And we have another type of product, which is more of an impulse buy, more situated for feelings, something that I would love to have, but I don't really need it. A good example is a nice perfume, but I can live without it. So based on this understanding, we need to build the listing and the click-through rate funnel accordingly. So understanding what are the main customer questions, understanding how to communicate with that person. So if he's solving an issue, we need to answer the right questions in a more technical way in the listing and in the main image, in the title, the way we build things and we share information. Or if it's more of an impulse purchase, We want to have more lifestyle images, kind of touch more on the feelings rather than technical side.
Yeah, so I guess that really does kind of drive different strategies, doesn't it? When you're thinking about almost selling to an emotion versus selling to an actual kind of physical need. How do you then kind of implement that into your PPC strategy to make sure that that's going to be you're hitting the right customers?
That's a great question. So we have a checklist where we have important targets that we need to make sure they're happening, such as the main image needs to be accordingly, the title needs to be very representative. And also it's important that the PPC manager has a good understanding about the product. Because if we look on PPC only from an analytical point of view, we're missing the buyer intent. And we need to always remember PPC is actually a way to put the right products in front of the right customers. They're not some spreadsheets or some numbers that we just modify and things are happening. And when we look on the keyword families, we need to understand what is the buyer intent. So if we find a specific question that a customer has, we need to answer that question through a family of keywords. And the way we position ourselves in front of the customer, it needs to be around that question. So we can answer that question in different placements, such as sponsored brands. We can have it as sponsored products with the right titles and the right main images. So we always want to make sure that we increase the chances of first someone clicking into the listing, and very important, someone buying the product. So increasing conversion rate.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's really good to know. In terms of the overall kind of business target, business strategy, how do you kind of differentiate what's a really good PPC campaign versus one that needs a lot of attention?
That's a great question. So we measure success based on the organic rank that we've had out of that PPC campaign. The allocation of budget is about 60% for profitability campaigns. So campaigns that are meant to bring profits in the business and also to generate more budget for the ranking campaigns. The other 40% of the PPC structure is for PPC ranking campaigns and also brand awareness and also brand defense. And we have clear ranking targets for that specific product. And we're measuring the success from looking at the organic positions. And after that, measuring the tacos and the overall sales that we had out of that product.
Great. And do you ever use automatic campaigns? I heard like in the past, I've got mixed emotions about them myself because I've used them in the past almost as like a data collection tool. The problem with that is that they can at times gain traction really quickly and look quite produce relatively good results. Other times they really don't, so they can be a bit hit and miss. I just wondered what your kind of take on automatic campaigns were.
Definitely. So we're using automatic campaigns as part of the profitability structure. It's very important that we apply small bids, so we don't allow Amazon to overbid on automated campaigns. We apply proper campaign budgets, so we don't overspend on those automated campaigns. And also, constantly we add negative targeting, so we improve the performance of that automated campaign. It's important to harvest new keywords through these automated campaigns, also through broad and phrase match campaigns, because the shopping behavior is changing, especially when we have seasonal products. So people continuously search for in different ways, and we need to be adaptable. And in a way to be adaptable, we need to connect the harvesting campaigns, which are automated, phrase, and broad, and to use the keywords that people search for and to integrate them in new campaigns.
Great, that's awesome. Yeah, and totally agree that sounds like a really great way to use kind of the automatic campaigns. In terms of like the business, like have you got almost like a standard strategy that your kind of PPC managers adopt, or do they, or is it very much like getting into the brand and understanding it and then adopting the right strategy, or is it a bit of a mix?
We have a specific procedure, and the strategy is changing all the time based on the actual data. So I'll give you an example. Everything starts with an account audit. We need to make sure that we understand properly the account. We need to make sure we understand the products, and we understand the brand owner's goals for the account. After that, we categorize the products into hero products and basic products. So the hero products are the ones that we want to allocate more budget, and they are the ones that present a higher opportunity on the market. They have higher profit margins, or the brand owners wants to push that product range. And the basic products, they are products that we want to optimize. However, we don't allocate that much budget on them. The next step is to implement the phase 1 of PPC. And we have hero phase 1, which includes profitability actions and ranking campaigns. And on the basic phase 1, we have only profitability campaigns. We have optimizing actions every week. So we do a manual optimization every week, and we make sure that we optimize the campaigns. We're running negative targeting. We improve the performance of the campaigns. And every 2 weeks, we have a bulk bid optimization where we optimize the bids based on the previous 2 weeks data. After that, every month, we look at the performance of each product, and we take decisions if we want to upgrade the PPC structure to either hero phase 2, or if we want to upgrade a basic structure to a hero structure. Because what we learned is that sometimes products that are not generating a lot of sales. So what we've learned is that sometimes products that are not generating a lot of sales, maybe it's just because they didn't have the visibility or they didn't have the proper SEO profile. That doesn't necessarily mean they're bad products. Yeah, that's it.
Right. Yeah, no, that's amazing. If I were a brand, and I kind of felt like my PPC campaigns had kind of stagnated, and I came to Horizon Marketing for support, what kind of support could you offer?
First, we would look at the performance of the campaigns and also the opportunity on the market, because there are a couple of scenarios that can happen. One, the campaigns can stagnate and the performance is stable. However, the brand owner is not happy with that performance. We can see performance decreasing. We can see rankings decreasing. So based on these situations, so we identify the issue and we come up with suggestions and actions that are gonna be tailored for that specific situation.
Okay, cool. And then in terms of the kind of the physical kind of services that perhaps you guys could offer, what is the what's the kind of go-to kind of offering, I guess?
For PPC actions, we want to couple that with SEO optimization, because if we do PPC by itself, we're leaving a lot of money on the table. And we'll also give the opportunity for competitors to go and gain more organic rankings. So first, we want to couple the SEO optimization with the PPC optimization. And it's very important to see if the products are advertisable or not. What does that mean? Is the listing in a good shape? Do we perform better compared to the competitors in terms of conversion rate and click-through rate? So based on that, we can offer SEO optimization together with PPC optimization. And also we can look into things such as click-through rate optimization or conversion rate optimization based on the situation. I wouldn't advise doing PPC by itself, just because that's not the optimal way to advertise nowadays on Amazon.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you have any tools that you use that kind of can support brands that perhaps are not quite at the phase of full management, but just want to kind of something that's in between?
That's a great question. So we looked into different PPC tools that we could use, and what we learned is that we couldn't find a tool that allows enough customization and allows us to build the structures that we designed. And unfortunately, the tools that we found so far, they were based on specific algorithms that they're very generic. So they were not taking into consideration the nature of the product, the customer archetype. So the decisions in the tools were being based on numbers only. So we don't want to do that. And therefore, we use internally bulk bid optimizations and manual optimizations, because they're still better than the tools that we've seen so far. A great tool that can help the sellers to optimize their listing is Data Dive. So if you're doing the SEO optimization into Data Dive and you connect your account and PPC to Data Dive, you can see the performance of your advertisement together with the performance of your organic position. So we use that internally to get decisions and to improve the listings. And also we built internally our own software to help us understand better the rankings, and also we built an SEO procedure internally.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, that's really useful. In terms of the kind of the overall kind of outreach, the things that you build as a business, do you have any? Are there any kind of like templates or any suggestions that you'd make on people that were kind of trying to run their PPC?
Oh, definitely. And we want to help the community. We want to help sellers to grow their businesses. And that's one of the reasons we build a school community where we share tools, SOPs with the sellers for free. So they can, so it helps them improve their Amazon businesses. So when they feel ready to take the account to the next level, we can collaborate on doing that.
Great. And then, so I guess we'll leave a link in the in the description for the school community. Perhaps I guess let's just talk a little bit more about the community and what people can get from it. I've kind of been part of school communities in the past, and I find them great. I think they're really helpful. What is it that kind of sets this one apart, and how can people kind of really make the best use of it?
We have a library of courses that people can access for free to enhance their understanding of either PPC, SEO, creatives, and they're spread into different levels of knowledge from beginner to advanced. Also, we're sharing there most of our tools and SOPs for free, things that we built over the years using our knowledge and a lot of investment. So we share them for free. And I think there is a great component of the school community where you're part of a community with sellers like you, maybe bigger sellers, smaller sellers. So people ask questions, people can support each other. And we have a great team inside the school community from different positions in the company, from PPC managers, SEO managers. So people that have a clear understanding for those specific things to help you and support with any questions that you might have.
Amazing. Yeah, sounds awesome. And the community is called the Amazon Business Academy. Again, we'll pop a link in the description so that anybody listening can join for free and have access to a bunch of tools. Really going to kind of help you to kind of develop and grow your Amazon business. Raz, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to talk to me, and really looking forward to kind of getting into the school community and having a proper look through it. Yeah, that's it. It's been great, and yeah, we'll look forward to our episode 2 next week.
Awesome. Thank you for having me, and I'm very excited to join again next time to share more information. So guys, if you have suggestions for new topics, I'm very excited to explore them.
Perfect. Cheers, Raz. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.